Hello everybody, I'm Jason. Most of you in the Tesla communities probably know me by WK057. And if you don't know me, I'm the guy who's been hacking Tesla cars for almost a decade. Done a bunch of neat stuff over the years. Check some of that out. Hopefully I can bring some additional insight into this whole full self-driving beta thing. So let's give it a go. This is the first video I've done like this, and I'm not super happy with the quality, but it'll probably do. I also don't usually do commentary, so bear with me when I try to make some sense out of what's going on here, and we'll get right into it. I'm starting this trip off from the 057 Tech shop, and as you can see, it kind of just tried to go towards the telephone poles and such, and I took over as it was coming to the stop very, very slowly. And once it makes the right, it does okay for a little while. It kind of cruises along, and the full self-driving beta does pretty well with lane keeping. It gets a little confused right up here, and for some reason it tries to go into the right lane, which is a turn-only lane, and we're supposed to be going straight. The navigation says a right in 0.4 miles, which is a little ways up. And it does fine here, a little slowdown when that car was there, but nothing too crazy. And it goes to make this right. It's actually a red light, but it makes a right on red really, really, really slowly. It eventually does it, and I actually didn't even intervene at all on that one. But there's some other times where I usually have to hit the accelerator or tap the brake or something along those lines. I actually slowed this one back down because for some reason it's just sitting at this light and decided, well, maybe I need to make a left. I was a little confused. But continuing on, did that oddball intersection pretty well. In here it kind of didn't stay to the side of the road, it kind of stayed to the center, and then really just did not want to make this right. I don't know why. I'm looking, there's nobody coming, it's just creeping, but eventually went and then made the quick left, and this is actually where I needed to be at the moment, so I kind of took over and went and parked because it doesn't really know how to do any of that yet. So I got back from my errand and figured I would get it back going because it wouldn't actually let me engage it from the parking spot for some reason, but no big deal. And we come right up to a light here. It is a right on red, and it just sits here, creeps up, eventually kind of gets up. I don't even see the light in the visualization, which is odd, and it creeps up and then pulls out in front of a car, so I kind of had to get on it a little bit. Not a huge deal. That car is still pretty far back, and this is like a 25 zone, so it's not like that big of a problem there, but still kind of an intervention. This part of the drive goes pretty smoothly. Nothing too crazy happens on this straight stretch. Again, full self-driving beta does really well with just the general lane keeping aspects. Way better than just generic autopilot if you try to use it in town. But then we get to this light where it's green and we go to make a left when it's clear, and for some reason it decides it wants to just go straight towards this truck. And if you look at the visualization, you can see it looks like it's trying to go to the left of that truck for some reason. Watch this kind of in slow-mo. I take over basically right as it finally figures out, oh, well, maybe I should go to the right, but I wasn't about to let it run into a truck, so I took over and we just continued on. It was a little weird. Keep kind of a running tally of how many times the car tries to kill me, jokingly, of course. Then we come up to a stop sign right before a 4-lane undivided highway, and the car stops really early, but kind of creeps forward, and it waits for the one car that you can see there to pass before just starting to accelerate. Unfortunately, there's a second car coming from the left that it just never recognizes. So I just took over and decided to just floor it, since it was already partly in the lane. The other car didn't actually seem to catch this immediately either, and I wasn't super happy with it. I'll just replay this from an angle with past Jason's commentary real quick for you.
One, and it's gonna pull out right in front of the other one, so I gotta go. Whee! Stupid thing.
The rest of this drive was pretty uneventful. The lane keeping in the full self-drive beta is actually pretty decent on non-highway roads. It's just literally everything else that needs a lot more work before I consider this more than a gimmick and actually be useful. It's I know a lot of people have had varying experiences that don't really go along with mine, but I can only go by how it works for me. And this was just a short drive with quite a few issues. I'll probably make some more of these videos later on, so hopefully things improve. Thanks for watching, subscribe and all that jazz, and catch me on Twitter at WK057. I try not to buy into a lot of the hype, and I also try to be as unbiased as possible and just present what I can see about things I find in the software or with Tesla or really any other tech that I find interesting that I might just want to talk about. So if you think any of that might be interesting, just give me a follow on Twitter at WK057. I usually post everything there first. Anyway, have a good one.